This is the roots, this is the stem, these are the leaves, and these are the flowers.
Where are the flowers?
They do not have flowers.
Yeah.
This is interesting. Some seeds remove easily, and some seeds did not remove easily.
It grows through the style, and then the sperm cells from the pollen grain fuse with these eggs, and the eggs will be fertilized. We call this process fertilization.
Good morning, Prof.
Oh, that's you, Soliana. Good morning, yourself. You are a good student. A good student comes on time. Yes, I am looking at these plants. They all look alike because they are plants, but they are different in very many ways.
Are they? They all look green to me.
You are right. They are all green. But look closer. There are a lot of differences.
Oh yes, Prof. One is different from the other in many ways. The shape of this leaf is different from the shape of this leaf. And the size of this leaf is different from the size of this leaf. Different plants have different variations.
What else do you see? For example, these ones here.
Flowers. I like flowers. But this plant here do not have flowers. There's something else instead.
Yes, this one does not have flowers. But you see these things? These are different. They are not found in other plants. These are flowers. Such plants are called flowering plants or angiosperms. Seeds are formed inside the ovary of the flower. You see, flowers also have ovaries, not only animals. But this plant here is a gymnosperm. Gymnosperms also produce seeds, but the seeds are not covered by fruits, or because they don't have ovaries. The seeds are naked. Do you know what naked means?
No.
Naked means, you see, if you take off all your clothes, you'll be naked. That's what naked means. And such seeds are naked because they are not covered by a fruit.
You mean like seeds inside an orange fruit?
Exactly. An orange fruit is a fruit. Inside the fruit, there are the seeds.
Now, I see that most plants have flowers. The ovaries are inside the flowers. Seeds produced inside the ovaries. The ovary becomes the fruit. Some plants do not have flowers nor ovaries. Seeds are produced naked on special leaves.
Good. You got it right. Let's look at these two plants. Let's look at these two plants here. Can you tell me the parts of these plants?
Sure, sir. This is the roots, this is the stem, these are the leaves, and these are the flowers.
Where are the flowers?
They do not have flowers.
This plant does not have a flower, but normally There are flowers, okay. And their functions?
The roots absorbs water from the soil.
Very good. And what else?
I don't know, sir.
Okay. The roots, as you see here, the root has a lot of soil on it. The root actually keeps the plant firm on the ground. So the root actually keeps the plant inside the ground so that the plant will not be washed away by flowing water or by strong air. It stays in that place. So the root has two functions. One is to transport water and minerals. Another one is to keep the plant firmly on the ground. Now we shall examine the plant parts more deeply. Look at the roots carefully. Look at these two roots carefully and tell me the functions of these roots or how they are arranged.
Yes, I do. The carrot itself is a root, and there are many smaller roots that branch from the carrot itself.
Yes, you are right. As you see, the carrot is a good example of a taproot. There is one large root, and there are very many smaller hair-like roots. The taproot grows downwards, and the smaller roots grow sideways. We call them lateral roots because they grow towards the side. Now look at the roots of another plant. Here, for example. Do you see any difference from the carrot plant here?
Of course I do. This one is different here. The root system is made up of many smaller roots. All have similar size. They start growing from one common point and grow in all directions, sideways and downwards. Do such roots have different names?
Yes, such roots have different names. Now, when you compare the two roots, you see this is one major root, the top roots. The lateral roots are small and they grow sideways. But here, all roots are of the same size and they grow different directions, as you said, downwards and sideways. Okay, this is a good observation. Such roots, we call this one a taproot, but these roots are called fibrous roots. Fibrous means hair-like. When you look at roots, everything that's found under the ground is not root. There are certain exceptions. Now, if you look at a carrot plant, this is underground, this is a root. If you look at a potato plant, this is a potato plant, here is the potato tuber. This here, This is a potato tuber. Now, but this is not roots. These are, the smaller ones are roots, but the potato itself is not a root. Because if you look at the structure, the internal structure of this potato and the internal structure of the stem, they are similar. The potato, not a root, but a modified stem, because the internal structure is similar. Similarly, if you look at an onion bulb, if you look at an onion bulb here, this is found underground. The onion bulb is only a modified leaf. If you look at the internal structure, it's like a modified leaf. The roots they come from that leaf. So an onion bulb is not roots. Since it is a leaf-like structure, we call it a modified leaf. The internal structure of this potato tuber and the internal structure of these leaves are similar. So the bulb is it's made up of leaves. It's not a root, but it's found under the ground. So you see, what this tells you is that everything under the ground is not necessarily a root. It can be a stem, it can be a modified leaf. But all roots are found under the ground. Now let's look at the function of the root, the stem. Do you know some of the functions of the stem?
Yes, sir. It holds the leaves, flowers, and fruit of a plant.
Okay. Yes, you are correct. And what else?
It transports water from the root to the leaves.
That's right. You see, the roots take water from the soil. The water is needed in the leaves. So the stem helps to transport water from the root to the different parts of the leaves. Now you have learned your lessons, but I have not seen a stem transporting water and minerals. Can you see the water being transported here?
No, I have not seen that either. I'm wondering how water and minerals can go to the leaves.
Good question. You see, good science begins with a question. The other good thing about science is you can prove or disprove any hypothesis. Now let's do an experiment. Take these two leaves, for example. Now look at them very carefully and tell me what makes them similar and what makes them different.
A clear similarity. They both are green.
Yes, they are both green, but why are they green?
Because they contain a green substance called chlorophyll. I also have learned that chlorophyll is necessary for photosynthesis.
Correct. They are green because they contain chlorophyll. In another experiment, you will prove to me how chlorophyll is important for photosynthesis or for preparing food. What other similarity do you see, Soliana? For example, the surface of the leaves.
Yes, I think I got it. Both leaves have flat and broad surfaces.
What is the advantage of having a flat and a broad surface for leaves? You don't know? Okay, of course you don't know. Now think of the importance of sunlight for a plant. Try to see the connection between sunlight and having a broad and flat surface in a leaf. Can you see the relation?
Oh yes, sunlight is important to prepare food by photosynthesis.
Yes, you are right.
And photosynthesis takes place in the leaves. When the leaves are flat and broad, they can take in as much sunlight as possible.
That's right. Plants become broad and flat to take as much light as possible when the sun shines on them, because the light is necessary for photosynthesis. Do you know those lines on the surface of the leaf? Look carefully at those lines. What do you see? What do you call them?
Yes, they are called veins.
Yes, when you look at the veins at the surface of the beans, each surface has lines in it. For example, here we have one line, and then there are branches of lines here. These are called the veins. And what is the use of the veins here?
A photosynthesis also needs water. The root absorbs water from the soil. Then the stem transports the water to the leaves. When the water is in the leaves, the veins transport the water to all parts of the leaves. The veins are like small tubes in a leaf to transport water.
This is brilliant. Now look at the veins themselves between these two plants, for example. This vein here and the veins here. Are they similarly arranged?
This is arranged in parallel. But in this case, this is not arranged in parallel. I'm sorry, I really don't know what is this called.
Okay, now let me tell you that. This is arranged in parallel. In parallel means these are lines. The whole line goes there, and there is another line there. There are many lines. These lines are veins. Water passes through them, but the veins are arranged in parallel. In this case, as you see, there is one major vein, then there are smaller veins branching from the major one in all sides. So these are like veins, and we call it, the arrangement of the veins is called venation. In this case we have parallel venation, in this case we have net venation. So the whole purpose of the veins is to transport water to
The leaves.
to all parts of the leaves. Thank you. Now let's look at, here we have maize, chickpea, bean, wheat. These are soaked, they are kept in water for several days. Will you please carefully remove the cover of the seeds? If the seed cover is easily removed, put it in one petri dish. If it's difficult to do that, put it on the other petri dish.
Sure, sir.
Why did you put that on the other dish?
Because it's difficult to remove.
Okay, good. Good. Now, will you please tell me the names of seeds in the separate dishes?
Sure, sir. They are the beans and the chickpeas.
You mean these ones? These are beans and chickpeas. Okay. And the other seeds?
These are the maize and these are the wheat.
Good. Now please try to press the seeds between your fingers lightly. What do you see?
This is interesting. Some seeds remove easily and some seeds did not remove easily.
You are right actually. The bean, the pea and the chickpea separate into two parts. Now this bean here, when you press it lightly, it separates into two parts, two different parts. But these ones, for example the maize, even if you press it very hard, it will not separate into two parts. It remains one part. Now I take this bean plant. You see, one bean seed is divided into two. It splits into two. This is one cotyledon and this is another cotyledon. Since one seed contains two cotyledons attached together, we call that seed a dicotyledonous seed or a dicot. But in the other case, the case of the maize, this does not split because it has only one cotyledon. One cotyledon does not split, of course. Such a plant is a monocot or a monocotyledon. So a seed with one cotyledon is a monocotyledon. One seed with two cotyledons is a dicotyledon. Now let's examine flowers. Do you know the different parts of a flower? Can you please show me the different parts?
Let me tell you what I learned in the classroom. For example, a red flower have a red petal, white flower have a white petal, and orange flower have an orange petal.
Good.
And these are the sepals. These are the stamens. This flower has 4 stamens. A stamen has a filament and an anther. The stamen is the main reproductive part of a flower.
Good. That's a good explanation. As you see, here we have different flowers. They have different colors. The colors are usually found on the petals. Here, as you said, red petals give red flowers, white petals give white flowers, orange petals give orange flowers. The sepal is at the bottom of the petals, and it keeps the petals, it surrounds the petals, and sometimes it also protects the ovary. This is a sepal, this is a petal. What is the name of the female part of the flower?
It's called carpel or pistil.
Yes, both names are possible. Now this is the female part. Now this is a plant. The female part is usually found at the center. This is the female part. Now if we remove the other parts of the flower, we can see the female part. Can you please give me that scalpel? Good. I will cut through this part. You see, this is the female part. If I take it off from this flower, there is always one female part in the flower. This is the stigma. Now this is the style, and the tip is the stigma. This is the ovary. When a pollen grain lands here on the stigma, it grows through the style down to the ovary, and in the ovary it produces sperm cells, and the sperm cells get into the ovary and meet with the seeds. When they fuse with the seeds, it grows through the style, and then the sperm cells from the pollen grain fuse with these eggs, and the eggs will be fertilized. We call this process fertilization.